Hi, I'm Jerry James Stone, and in today's video, well, I'm super excited because I'm gonna make something that I think is just delicious, and I think you're gonna love it too. We're gonna make macaroni and cheese stuffed bell peppers. Yeah, you heard me right. Let's get to it. Okay, so the first thing we wanna do is make our cheese sauce. You want that ready for once the pasta is done cooking so you can mix that all together and then stuff the bell peppers. So let's get to making the cheese sauce. So that starts out with making a roux. The first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna melt some butter in a nice deep saute pan. And then we're gonna take flour, equal parts butter, equal parts flour, and sift that flour into the butter. The advantage of doing this, of creating the roux to thicken the sauce, is by putting that flour into a fat and sort of getting that all combined before you add the liquid, which is the milk, is that you get a nice, even, thickened sauce with no lumps. Okay, so we have our roux ready. The next thing to do is to add in the milk. Just go ahead and add in. I prefer using whole milk. You can use whatever you want. I feel like if you're gonna eat mac and cheese, you might as well go like balls to the wall and just go out and do it, right? So you wanna add the milk slowly to the roux and whisk that while you're doing it, just to make sure that you get a nice even consistency with the liquid. Once the milk is worked in, we wanna bring that mixture to a boil, just like a low simmer actually. The reason you're doing that is you wanna cook it for a couple minutes in order to get that flour cooked. If you don't do that, the sauce isn't gonna thicken, but also it's gonna taste kind of doughy from the flour being uncooked. So this is really important, just to bring it to a low simmer, but while you're doing that, you wanna keep whisking it because you don't wanna burn the mixture at all. Once it cooks for a couple minutes, then we're gonna start adding in our cheese. I'm adding in cheddar cheese here. You can use whatever mixture that you want, but I just find this to be a really classic flavor, so I'm using shredded cheddar. This is really important though. Before you do that first step of adding in the cheese, you want to turn off the heat and actually remove the milk mixture in that pan, remove it from the heat. The reason that you're doing that is if you actually have heat, high heat, any heat really, with the mixture, then as you add in the cheese, you risk the chance of that cheese breaking. And the last thing you want to do is have your sauce break. When that happens, you're going to have a mix of cheese fats, cheese solids, fat, liquid. It's just gonna be a whole mess, and there's really no way to really save it once it breaks. So you wanna take it off of the heat and slowly work that cheese into the sauce so that way it incorporates, but it doesn't get overwhelmed. Okay, so our cheese sauce is ready. Now we're actually gonna make the pasta. So I'm gonna bring that pasta to a boil. And hey, by the way, I have a video on how to cook the perfect pasta, so be sure to check that out. But I'll tell you right now, just a few of the key points. One, you wanna make sure that you salt that water. So bring the water to a boil and salt it a lot. It should be like seawater. And you wanna salt it after it's boiling, because if you are using like a stainless steel pan, like I am, if you salt it before the water boils, you risk actually damaging the pan. Once it comes to a boil, salt the water, throw the pasta in, cook it per the instructions, but don't rinse it once it's ready. Actually take that pasta and scoop it out with like a strainer and transfer it directly into the cheese sauce. The reason you do that is the starches from that liquid that are actually around the pasta helps just make the sauce a lot creamier. We're already working with a pretty creamy sauce anyway because it's cheese and milk, but this will actually add to it. So we have our cheese sauce, we have our pasta, it's all mixed together. Now it's time to actually stuff those bell peppers. Okay, so we're just gonna prep the peppers. Super simple, cut off the tops, scoop out the seeds. Also, by the way, I have videos on how to prep, store, buy bell peppers, so be sure to check those out too. Okay, so we cut off the tops, now we're gonna scoop out the seeds. And now we're gonna prep the peppers with the mac and cheese and try not to eat it all while I'm doing this. Now I used a larger pasta, a big, nice, like kind of large macaroni. The reason I did that, I love how it sort of scoops up all that cheese. The one thing about that is you're gonna get a lot less inside of the pepper because it's a bigger pasta shape. So if you use like a traditional macaroni, you probably won't go as high up as with it, but you'll fill it with a lot more pasta. Okay, so we stuffed the peppers with the mac and cheese. Now we're just gonna top it off with more cheese because why not, right? So just go ahead and add in a bit more on the top. That way it gets nice, crispy, melted cheese topping. And then we're gonna bake these for about 12 to 15 minutes at 400 degrees, just until the cheese on top gets a nice little gooey topping and then starts to caramelize a little bit. You get that lovely brown cheese flavor. Okay, just gonna put these in the oven. Okay, so we baked the stuffed bell peppers for about 15 minutes at 400 degrees, and they just smell delicious. There's the roasted bell pepper, the macaroni and cheese, it's so good. I'm just gonna top it off with a little chopped parsley, and then they're ready to serve. How great does that look? Okay, definitely give this recipe a try and let me know what you think. If you like to cook like I do, I release new videos every single week, so please subscribe. If you have something that you want to see, drop a comment below. And hey, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. I'll see you guys next time.